Good evening, everyone. It is Sunday, October 18th, 6:15 p.m. Just wanted to run through a few DeMark charts tonight. First of all, the SPY and the QQQs, and then we will take a look at Qualcomm, NXPI, both semiconductor companies that are doing pretty well, Twitter, and VRTX. So starting with the SPY daily, I had been tweeting over the last week that Thursday was going to be a big day to see whether the TD cell setup that was ongoing would actually complete or whether it would cancel. On Thursday, price managed to complete the cell setup with bar 9. It is not perfected. In other words, the price would need to exceed both bars 6 and 7 to reach perfection. Nonetheless, it is an indication that buying strength is there. Now, as you can see here, there was an immediate price flip to the downside on Friday. We'll see how far that goes. In any way, the presumption at this point is that there will be yet another countdown sell start and complete to bar 13. So this is relatively bullish, even though a small pullback should not be disregarded. Going to the weekly time frame. Again, this looks pretty good. Only bar 2 of the new cell setup, bar 3 for the countdown cell. The perfected 9 signal over here obviously expired and nothing came of it, so bulls seem to still be in control. Switching over to the QQQs. We'll take, let me flip to the daily first. A lot of chopping. The cell setup that was printing over the last week canceled on Friday. Again, this TD prop momentum upline should serve as somewhat of support. And we will see. This is pretty much an inconclusive chart. Now, going to the weekly, there is a completed 13 on Friday. So presumably there is some exhaustion of buying in the QQQs. Now, the problem shorting this one right here, right now, is that the risk level or the level of secondary exhaustion is all the way up to 335.20. That's a lot of points to suffer through if the price continues to secondary exhaustion. So tough call here. Daily chart is inconclusive. Weekly chart could show some buying exhaustion, but not a really easy entry point to go short. All in all, I think the message of the SPY and the QQQs is exactly what we're seeing in the market as a whole. A lot of chopping and a lot of people just trading back and forth without much conviction. I don't think that's going to change much until the elections is finished. Switching over to, let's start with NXP, which is a semiconductor company that I have owned for quite a chunk of time now. You can look back at my tweets if you're interested for the rationale on that. Had a big move, not this past week, but the week before, after pre-announcing good numbers. That spurt resulted in a perfected cell setup. 1, 2, 3, 4. There was a a reversal, the start of a buy setup here. It was outside the 4 bars. The 4 bars of somewhat relative weakness did show up. We'll see. Again, a lot of chopping here. I'm not sure that I want to draw any conclusions as to whether there's going to be more of a pullback or whether it's continue to go up. It's just not clear to me. I will say this: if this level here, the dotted purple line, is broken on a qualified basis, meaning that it turns solid, that would eliminate the countdown sell signal from over here, and it would certainly open up the possibility of further upside. On the weekly time frame, what is interesting here is, again, it's trading above the secondary exhaustion level. It has not perfected the break yet. The perfected sell setup that you see here, bar 9, a little bit of a pullback, just as one would expect, but resumption of the uptrend after that. This looks pretty good to me, especially if this secondary exhaustion line is broken on a qualified basis. This looks to me like healthy consolidation. Switching over to Qualcomm, close brethren, so to speak. Again, I will take the daily chart first. Also has had a very nice move, completed sell setup here and a completed countdown sell over here. This sell setup completion now calls for yet another full countdown to go to conclusion. So another 13 bars, not 13 bars, but another 13 count to unfold to the upside. Whether that takes place or not, we'll see. That's the presumption at this point. And this looks pretty healthy. On a weekly time frame, again, you can see bar 8 of the ongoing countdown. Now, bar 8, many of you know, is the reference bar. That's usually where a pullback in the countdown occurs. That would be consistent with the daily chart, which shows the TD sell setup and also the completed 13 countdown. So we could get some weakness or at least some sideways chop at this point, and then we should have a final burst to complete the 13 count. Going over to Twitter, which also has been having a pretty decent stretch. We can look at the weekly first here. Completed 9, pull back, but resumption of the uptrend now. So this is textbook what should happen after a sell setup completes. You get 1 to 4 bars of weakness and then resumption of the upside. So this all looks very bullish. Of course, if the TDST level up, which is the trend line on a weekly basis, breaks on a qualified basis, that would reinforce significantly that the price action here is very, very healthy. Switching over near term on the daily chart. Completed 13 here, a price flip. The secondary exhaustion is at 50.90. Could see some chop. This 43.70 should serve as good support. I think this looks like consolidation to me rather than the end of the up move. And lastly, Vertex, which is something that I warned about a few weeks back. And this one got slaughtered. It got killed because a compound that they were testing in phase 2 failed and they scratched the product. As you can see, there wasn't much going on here, no counts, no nothing after this countdown cell 13. It had expired, but it just could not get any momentum to restart something, and then boom, off the cliff. I think you could see this one. I highlighted the weekly chart because the countdown cell 13 had been reached, and there had been a price flip, and then there was a completion of this TD buy setup. Again, textbook stuff. Completion, 1, 2, 3 bars of relative strength, and then boom, off the cliff. This chart is a problem. There is no two ways about it. I think from a fundamental standpoint, their pipeline looks pretty skimpy. They're still a behemoth in cystic fibrosis. They still make a lot of money there, so lots of cash flow. But this is the monthly time frame that I had also highlighted in the video a few weeks ago. As you can see here, completed 9, completed 13, and then off the cliff. It would not surprise me if before this is all over, Vertex starts flirting with the 170, which is the monthly TDST level down, or the monthly trend line. That is it. I think things, to sort of wrap it up, things are confusing out there. Very little conviction, a lot of fast trading, but very unclear where things may go, at least looking at the charts. Fundamentally, I am bearish. I just think that the economy is in for a very, very long stretch of weakness. But we'll see. The charts are inconclusive, and I'd rather trade them than invest in them at this point. Thanks for listening, and I will talk to you guys soon.